Over the years, so many people have asked me what kind of TV I have that I would have such a large antenna behind my garage. Of course, some people recognize it as a ham or amateur radio antenna. I've never been too much of a techie kind of guy, but I was intrigued with the idea of talking to other people with radio back in middle school. I followed my brother, who had a friend who enjoyed working with radio, so I benefited from their early struggles with marginal equipment and got my license as a freshman in high school. Radio can transmit voice or digital communications today, but in the beginning I never had a microphone, so I was limited to using the simplest communication called Morse Code. It's just dots and dashes or dits and dolls that can be copied and written down. It seems silly to most people that such a cumbersome form of communication is attractive or fun in this day of cell phones. But I certainly did not know this back then. It's funny that today, when there's no longer a code requirement for amateur license, the number of CW operators is actually increasing. What I am participating in here is called a radio contest. One works as many stations as possible. Everyone has a call which identifies themselves. My call is NB3I. The N identifies me as being from the States, and the 3 identifies that I am from Pennsylvania, Maryland, or Washington, D.C. If I lived in Russia, my call would begin with R or U. So my score in this contest is the number of contacts I make multiplied by the number of different prefixes represented by so many different countries. I certainly am not as sharp as many operators on the bands, and my station is pretty modest in comparison to many people. So I never come close to winning, but I do enjoy competing with myself and seeing how well I can do. Everyone needs to report their logs, and my log is put in with everybody else's log, and I get a report card back with how many mistakes I made. If I make less than 5% or errors, I'm very pleased. Usually I run around 7%. When I first ran contests, we logged everything by hand and kept dupe sheets to figure out who we worked before. It was a ton of work. Computers now drive the radio, and we have record of who we worked before and who we still need. It makes it so easy in comparison. Here is a close-up of the logging window. I type in the call of the guy who calls me. You can see he's from Greece, down in the left-hand or left bottom portion of the window. He gives me his number, which is 2090. Obviously, he's been busy because my number, you can see, is only 187. Here you can see I miscopied this guy's call. An S is 3 dits and an H is 4 dits. He caught my mistake and repeated his call, and I needed to make that correction. Half the fun of amateur radio is building up a station and seeing everything work. Some people spend hours on the radio and cultivate friendships on radio. That would be hard for me. I think I need to connect personally with people who have real friendships. But I can still enjoy working the world in this obsolete art form called Morse Code. I'm running a kilowatt here with this amplifier. Some enjoy seeing what they can do with low power, like 100 watts or even 5 watts. But when you're calling CQ and asking people to respond to you, a kilowatt helps get people's attention. I should let you just watch the logging window here for a bit, and you can see where these people are calling from. You can see that these exchanges are very quick, since the point of the contest is to work as many stations as possible. We just give a signal report and a serial number of our contacts. Obviously, my numbers are slow compared to everyone else's. The contest is 48 hours in length, and I like to sleep at night, and there's so many other things that call in my day. So obviously, I don't spend the time that these guys do. Morse code does have an advantage over voice communication in that it takes so little band space. Here on this scope you can see all the activity on the band. With filters one can narrow what one hears to a very small bandwidth and make sense out of what would be impossible to decipher. Here, let me open the bandwidth window, and you can see what filters can do to make it possible to understand just one person. That's it for this short introduction. Thanks for watching. I'll say 73s, which means best regards from NB3I.